Today's date is September 14th, 2020, and we're at the Leap Road Railroad Crossing in Hilliard, Ohio. We are here today to catch our final CSX Q147 of 2020, because the times are changing and we're getting less light in the evenings. Around 8:05 p.m. in the pitch black darkness, Q147 smokes his way through Hilliard passing Leap Road, with two AC 4400 CWs on the point. After seeing that, we then moved to September 17th, 2020, and we are at the Central Ohio Model Railroad Club in Worthington, Ohio, running our model trains. While I was sitting outside taking a break from running my model trains, I heard the classic rumble of a GE, and I ran to the field that's across the street from the train club and caught this Norfolk Southern northbound Autorec train passing the club. The next 3 following days since this catch, we experienced the fantastic state of Pennsylvania. I'll leave a link in the description for that video, just in case you missed it. On the following week since that trip on September 26, we are next to the Route 161 railroad crossing in Worthington, Ohio, next to the CSX Columbus subdivision. The reason why we are here is because a CSX tanker train K429 was heading southbound towards Columbus, with a pair of Canadian Nationals on the point. We didn't have to wait too long before the railroad crossings activated for our train.
How are ya?
Good, how are you?
Good. way, am I?
Nope.
Leading today's ethanol train is Canadian National 5670, an EMD SD75I, which was built in 1996 specifically for the Canadian National. The second unit on this ethanol train is something a little bit different, Canadian National 2457, a GE C40-8W, which was built in 1994 as LMS 730. Then when it was sold to the Canadian National, instead of being repainted into CN red and black, they kept the blue paint and put CN lettering on it, which by rail fans call these locomotives the Blue Devils. As you can see here in 2020, it still retains its LMS blue paint, and it's kind of refreshing to see a C40-8W still working out on the rails in 2020, because all of Norfolk Southern's and CSX's Dash 8s are now gone, and Canadian National, if I'm not mistaken, is the last Class 1 railroad in North America to have C40-8s and C40-8Ws active on their roster, which I think it's a pretty legendary catch, if you ask me. Okay, so what do we have here? After seeing that Blue Devil, we then move to October 1st, 2020, and we are at the Central Ohio Model Railroad Club in Worthington, Ohio. After taking my trains out of the car and putting them inside, I heard a really weird sound, and I walked up to the door and realized that there was a train going through, which was a Norfolk Southern northbound mixed freight train, possibly 19M. I missed the front of the train, but I was able to get the mid-train DPU, which was pushing in the middle, as you see here. After seeing that, we then moved to October 4th, 2020, and we are at the Cook Road Railroad crossing. No particular reason why we came, we just came just to see what we can find here. We only get to see 2 trains today, and the first one we see here is Norfolk Southern Train 218, southbound double stacks out of Chicago, Illinois, bound for Charlotte, North Carolina, with an SD70 Ace on the point. second and final train on this outing was Norfolk Southern Train 234, southbound double stacks out of Chicago, Illinois, bound for Norfolk, Virginia. After seeing that, we then moved to October 11th, 2020, and we are north of the Powell Road overpass in Powell, Ohio, which crosses the Norfolk Southern Sandusky district. We came here to do a little bit of rail fanning, but things didn't exactly go according to plan. Traffic on the Sandusky district during the time frame that we were there was incredibly light. It pretty much took an hour and 20 minutes before the signal on track 2 went green, and it was for a Norfolk Southern southbound intermodal train symbol 218, heading to Charlotte, North Carolina. The crew was pretty friendly, giving us a horn show as he passed. Later on in the day, we then moved to some local businesses just north of Buckeye Yard. And the reason why we are here is because the Central Ohio Railfanning Group was talking about presumably 2 BNSF locomotives that have found their way into the yard and were going to be on Y103. This is a yard job that would eventually become Q147 after he gets put together. So we decided to go out to Buckeye Yard and see if we can find these 2 BNSF locomotives that were supposedly in the yard. We didn't have to wait too terribly long before Y103 showed himself through the trees as he was doubling out his train, sporting his combined consist of CSX and BNSF, all on one train. Y103 today is CSX 4544, an EMD rebuilt SD70 Mace, which was built in 1999 as CSX 744. Then in the early 2000s, it was renumbered to 4544 to make room for their new ES44ACs and ES44AHs. Then in 2019, it was sent to the Huntington, West Virginia shops to be rebuilt as an SD70 Mace, and the result of this project was a rebuilt and overhauled SD70 Mac with new wiring and hardware, and continues operating to this day. The second unit on Y103 is CSX 3107, a GE ES44AH, which was built in 2013. The third unit was BNSF 5128, a GE C44-9W, which was built in 2004, and as of the time I took this picture, it still wears my favorite paint scheme ever from BNSF, the Heritage 2 paint scheme. The fourth and final unit was BNSF 5820, a GE ES44AC, which was built in 2005. After taking those pictures, Y103 backed out of sight, and this would be the last we see of them on this day. After seeing that, we then moved to October 16th, 2020, and I was in the Worthington, Ohio area doing some shopping, and we decided to stop by Cook Road while we were out to see if there were any trains coming. And we only got one train, which was a Norfolk Southern southbound grain train, presumably 56W, but I'm not 100% sure, led by an ET44AC and an ES44AC. The very next day, October 17th, 2020, we find ourselves back at the Central Ohio Model Railroad Club. And why is that? Well, a few days prior to this, I signed up for a model kit clinic. Try saying that 5 times fast. Also, I heard that NS 1800, one of the yellow cab DC to AC units, was on 218 that day, and we came out for the clinic and hopefully get to see 1800. I had some time to kill before the clinic even started, and there happened to be a Norfolk Southern southbound train heading my way, which was an ethanol train bound for North Carolina or something like that, and possibly was 6M4, but I'm not 100% sure. the bottom end of this ethanol train cleared, I then went inside to do the clinic, which happened to be a major success even though I only got one of my cars built. Shortly after going inside though, 218 roars his way past the club with 1800 trailing third behind 2-9s. My mom was able to get a pretty good video of it. We moved to the very next day again on October 18th, 2020, and we are in the small middle of nowhere town of Kyleville, Ohio, which is a suburb of Dublin, next to the CSX Scottsong Secondary. The reason why we are here is because CSX Q310 was coming out of Avon, Indiana, with CSX 3440, the Spirit of Ravenna, leading the way. But when he came up here, he came to a stop, and I was wondering for quite some time why he did stop. I overheard this on my radio app on my cell phone before we left the house that this was going to happen, but I was not expecting it to end up the way it did. CSX Q311, the train that's the counterpart of Q310 heading to Avon, was coming up the Scottsong Secondary at the same time. So they decided to meet the two trains here at the siding just past Dublin Plain City Road. Okay guys, Q311 just came to a stop here. Q310's right past the switch that it's almost over, so it would appear that Q311's going to take the siding up there. Yeah, you see the guy walking down there. Alright, he's zooming on that for you guys. So he's going to manually set the switch down there to bring Q311 into that siding down there. I'm gonna come back to you guys when this train starts moving again. Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm not sure if you can hear me over the train, but as you can see, Q311's going into the siding up there to let Q310 continue his way east. So this is probably gonna take a while, as you can see, because as I turn around here, still got a lot of train left to go here. So I'm going to come back to you guys after Q311 gets into the siding here. We got some Department of Defense flats right here, so we got some empty military loads on Q311 today. So after meeting Q311 here, as you can see, Q310 is rolling again. After Q311 was fully in the siding, the crew of Q310 reboarded the lead locomotive, which was 3440, and asked permission from the dispatcher to continue their way east. And the dispatcher granted them clearance to continue east. And the engineer aboard this train was pretty friendly, as he was slowly notching his way up from the stop, giving me a big horn show, and revealing its unusual consist, with the Spirit engine leading and two standard cab 4-axle EMDs trailing. 9 DPU right here. As 3440 pulls Q310 towards Russell, Kentucky, this will now end yet another video. As you saw, around the time and after I took my Pennsylvania trip, I got to see a lot of good stuff from multiple different railroads. Anyways, hit the like button down below, leave a comment and tell me what you think of it, subscribe to my channel, and tap the bell button to be notified when a new video of mine comes out. This is All Ohio Railfan, signing out.